أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. So I was checking the calendar, what we have done so far. We started making these discussions in that format since 2022, apparently, so it has been 3 years. And there was a very beautiful feedback from MSA over the weekend saying that discussions are being a little too loaded. And I realized that that's correct. So it was being a little loaded. And I very much appreciate that, how that feedback was very good. So today, we are backtracking a little bit in terms of our 3-year history, in terms of these discussions. So inshallah, I'll try to make it a little more engaged as much as I can. And I very much appreciate all the feedback that can come. Like if what's being said is not making too much sense, or you're just being blank, like blank simply means I don't understand what's going on. Please help me with that so that inshallah we can make it available for everyone. So today's discussion, inshallah, is going to be sort of lay a foundation for what we are doing here, because these discussions are probably different than what you might have seen before in regards to trying to understand Quran. Especially if you are coming from a Muslim background, where the assumption generally is this is like a speech of our creator or even holy book of our religion. There's definitely a certain reverence when you sit before the scripture anyways. So you're being extremely cautious, careful not to hurt and whatnot. So our relationship is not being as organic with the Quran in this regard, unlike with any other book that we would have. So this is why in this today's discussion, we will try to start from there. What is Quran in the first place? And we will only study this verse to whatever extent we can study it. This is the very second verse of Surah Al-Baqarah. The first verse is Alif Lam Mim, and this is the second verse, which is ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. This is the book whereof there is no doubt, a guidance to those who are God conscious. A single simple sentence apparently. But we will try to unpack what's going on in this sentence. What does this verse tell us? So the first part of the verse is saying ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابِ, like this is the book. This is how it's opening up the conversation. So let's start simple. What is a book? Let's get some simple descriptions so that, because we will try to see if it will take us anywhere. What's a book, Rayan?
It's just written information, I guess, written way of storing information.
Written information, okay. What else? Anything else? There are types of books, I guess. Mukhtar, what type of books do you like reading?
The Quran.
Okay.
I guess we categorize books differently, like nonfiction versus fiction.
Fiction, nonfiction, very
what
good.
the factual basis of the content is.
Yeah, very nice. Actually, this reminds me a funny anecdote. When we were in high school, like there was this super smart guy in the classroom, like, you know, the star. He was, of course, reading the like Western classics, Russian novels and everything. But when you ask him, which book is the best book that you have read? He would say, after the Quran, and then he says something else, as if he has ever thoroughly studied. But this is how Quran is in our perception. Like, it must stay there, even if I don't know what the heck is going on with Quran, but it is the best, whatever, like unquestionable. Then, of course, Dostoevsky comes next. Like, this was the impression without knowing what Quran was, pretty much. Yes, from sister's side, any comments about the books? Any favorite books that you guys have? Yes.
I like historical fiction. You get to learn more about history and like different regions, areas in the world and what happened there.
Right. Historical fiction, right? And it talks about past stories, different cultures. Interesting. So, such is a book, right? If I were to tell you this is the phone, you know what a phone is. You know probably what to expect from a phone. And if I enter the room and start my, what do they call it? Is it pitch talk? Like I'm starting to talk with, this is the book, or this is the phone that you guys are looking for, right? Sales pitch. Yeah, sorry. Sales pitch. So this is how I will enter the word. This verse is entering the word by saying, this is the book. Like, if I was in this room and say that this is, I don't know, let me show you something irrelevant. I'll find something irrelevant here. I don't know. This is the wallet. Probably would say, wallet, are you still carrying money? Like, what's the point? Such an irrelevant sales pitch. Like, we're not even interested in it. This sort of a thing. Right? This is starting with, this is the book. So it must be that somehow you guys were expecting some sort of a book, were you? Otherwise, this conversation becomes irrelevant, isn't it? Like if I'm trying to sell you something, like in Istanbul, if you go with the fair, like the small ships from east to west, like from Europe to Asia side, there would be sellers that are selling something like, peeler, potato peeler. Like something so mundane, so irrelevant, they try to sell it to you in this ships. Like somebody's coming and saying that this is the best peeler. And you say, well, I don't need a peeler. I'm not even cooking at home, right? Somebody's coming and telling you that this is the book. This is how the conversation is opening. Were you expecting a book? Like, were you first expecting a book so that when somebody opens up a conversation saying that this is the book, it's going to catch your attention? Were you ever expecting a book? If you were to expect a book, would it be a historical fiction or historical fact book? Like, what do you think? Were you guys expecting a book?
Maybe if someone was telling me about a book and then they presented and said, this is the book. I think that's where my mind goes.
Okay, somebody comes and says, well, you don't need this peeler. Like, let's go with the peeler, potato peeler. You don't even know what that is, but this is the potato peeler. And let me show you how it works. And trying to convince you that it is something so useful for your life and you have to buy it. Sometimes this is how it goes with those sellers. They are trying to sell you something that you totally don't need. You don't need it at all, but they present it so nice that you feel like, oh, I have to buy this potato peeler because the guy is presenting it so nice. Yes.
Why would I expect a book and not an author?
A book or an author. What is the commonality between the two, though? You expect some sort of a message of some sorts. What do you? Do you expect a message? I mean, that's a good question. Why not the person come and tell me something? That's a valid question. But the book simply means you are in anticipation of some sort of a message. But are you in anticipation of a message? Like today, you guys are in this room. Imagine you have never heard about the book either. Would you be expecting a message? Yeah.
I think so, because whenever, like, whether that's just, even if I don't think what's in my life, I'm just thinking like very simple tasks that I don't know how to do. I'm looking for some sort of guidance. So that means I have to find somebody else who's done it, somebody wrote about it maybe. So I'm like, okay, if I open this and learn this, then I can apply it. So in that sense, I'm always actually looking for, in the sense, maybe not a physical book. Sometimes it's just like a teacher, like it's your parents usually, right? Like some sort of guidance is always coming to me. So I'm definitely always looking for the book that's going to give me enlightenment of my own life so that I can sort of have like this best life that I desire.
I see. So definitely we are in expectation of some sort of a guidance. You said the word guidance of what sort? Like what sort of a question do you have so that you're going to have an answer?
I feel like everyone at some point thinks about why am I here?
Why am I here?
Like at some point in your life, don't matter where you come from, what you do, that probably comes up.
Actually, what is the first question that you ever asked in your life? And somebody tell me, including this baby. I think this baby also had some questions. And I am really referring to your days as old as this one. What is the first thing that you have asked in this life? Do you remember it? No?
How did I get here?
How did you get here? Probably that was not as early.
What am I?
Okay, these are quite complicated questions. I don't think she's asking such a question.
Oh, she does.
Milk. This was you like born, and the moment she was born, she started crying, and the only thing that satiated her cry was what? Once she started drinking the milk, she kept quiet. How did she know that she needed something? There was a bell ringing here, right? Like her belly was saying that something is wrong. So she was crying. She was in anticipation of something. And once the thing came, she knew what it is. Milk entered her mouth and she kept quiet because she was satisfied. Like mom is presenting her with the food, which is milk at this point. And she says, that is it. And problem solved, right? That was an innate need, milk. She got it. And the moment she got it, she knew what it is because the satisfaction, like the need was satisfied. The moment you take it, you recognize that it is what I'm looking for, right? Now, Quran is presenting us here saying that this is riba. So apparently I have problems that are more serious than the cold of my stomach, because the cold of my stomach is really being answered, isn't it? It was answered when I was first born, immediately, actually. The moment I was born, milk does not exist in mom. It starts at the moment right after the birth of the baby. The baby comes, then milk comes. It doesn't come 1 hour before or something. It comes right after. First, the need is there, then it's answered, right? So it's a response to a need. Now let's talk about another type of a stomach that you have. Like this stomach is being answered with the milk, or you have lungs. Baby also has lungs. And the moment up until that point in baby's life, although she has a fully developed lung, she never uses it, right? But the moment she gets out of mom, then she starts breathing. This is the first time she is truly in need of oxygen. And then she starts inhaling air. Need is satisfied, baby is healthy, satisfied, right? So there were two needs, and those two needs were satisfied. And the baby is now comfortable. Now, baby is growing up. Now, you guys are grown-up babies, and you start having another type of need. Now, I think we can consider the questions that you have. To the extent that you have questions, there are other empty stomachs in you, in all of us. Sometimes it is, I heard, where am I coming from? Was it that? Or what was the questions?
Why am I here?
Why am I here? Who am I? Why am I here? Are there any more genuine problems? Like these are too philosophical. Like these are correct questions. I'm not saying that they're wrong, but maybe a little more genuine.
I think about that, like, is going to school for like this many years, like, what life is in question?
What life is about? Okay. Many children are dying in Gaza. You were asking that question, like, why? Like, I am feeling sorry for those kids. How about the creator of those kids? Like, isn't there a merciful one who takes care of these kids? Just a question. Or let's say, interestingly, my daughter is going to Islamic school. It's an interesting Islamic school in certain ways, but they are at that age, like she is first grader right now. For whatever reason, they chose to teach her that certain people go to paradise and certain people go to hell. But those certain people are like, if you're a Muslim, you go to paradise. If you're another Muslim, you go to hell. And then my daughter is asking, like, one of our friends, like, father is Muslim, wife is non-Muslim, and daughter of this family is her friend. And she says, "Oh, is such and such mom, is she going to hell?" It's a question for this kid because she's worried. Like there is this nice lady, she is super merciful, kind person, but they say she's going to hell. Should she? Like why? Like this is a very genuine question of a 6-year-old. So, and you can generalize it. It's not only a matter of that person going to hell, but this person getting harmed. Like anybody getting harmed is a question. Or my daughter says, she doesn't want us, like she doesn't want to grow. Because she says, if I grow and get your age, then you're going to get to my grandmother's age. And you're going to die. This is again a 6-year-old. Like these are very genuine questions. Why do we die? Like once I have those questions and I am unable to answer them properly, at best we are hiding behind other things, busying ourselves. And she's also busying herself with sometimes painting, like coloring, sometimes with the toys and whatnot. We escape. But we know that these are the real things that are really putting us into trouble with nightmares or demotivate us when we are trying to do anything in life. These are the actual things in our life, those problems, right? So it would be nice if there was a book. It would be nice. But would you expect a book? Would you really say that, no, really, there must be such a book? How sure would you be? How sure would you be about? And by book now, I think we are referring to then answers to my real questions, real problems. Maybe we should use the word problem rather than question, since question sounds very, made up or as if it's prepared in a lab environment. No, problems in my life, and I'm trying to find answers to my problems in life. Do you expect an answer to or solution to your problems? Would you really think your creator would give that? What do you think? Any idea? How sure are you? Based on what? Yes.
As sure as I am that I have a question,
Why?
because if I have, if I, if I.
Mm-hmm.
Say I'm witnessing something happening.
Mhm.
Say I'm witnessing something happening, right? A fish jumping out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm asking why. There's a piece of information there that I don't know, but somebody knows because at least, if I don't assume that the creator knows, at least the fish knows. At least there is something that exists that I'm witnessing that I don't have the information to. Somebody must know because I just feel like because I have a question, there must be an answer, just like because there's day, there's night.
Okay. That's good, but can we go from our needs again? Like the baby, when you were born, you had the need for milk. And milk was provided. You had the need for air, and air is provided. Like, at the moment it came, you said that that's it, right? Can I say the same about the other stomach that I have, which is all those questions, they are in need of answers. They bother me so much. And actually in this life, this is what makes us different than the rest of the creation, the rest of the universe, the rest of the existence. Like animals don't seem to be bothered by things as much as we do, right? So this intellect that we have is such a troublemaker, if you like. Like with it comes all those problems. With it, we start being bothered by many of the things out there. So the one who is answering this stomach, wouldn't you expect that same being to answer this stomach? Yeah.
I'm having a disconnect because
Okay.
like it doesn't always get answered, right? Like, yes, you could be hungry and not get fed. So I feel like if it's always 100, then I'm like, not really. Like that's how I observe it at least, right? Whatever limited knowledge I have, there's people that will be hungry and that whatever you thought about will be fulfilled. And there's some that will continue to search for like whatever question problem that they have. And I'm not sure the answer, even from my own experience, that it's always.
So, like, for example, when you're hungry, you are searching for food because you say that if the stomach is empty, and I have seen that food was being provided, so somewhere else, I'm going to find the food. This is why you keep searching for it, right?
Well, let's say there is somewhere else there must be food. Whether you will access it or not,
I mean, you have the anticipation that food is somewhere out there. This is why you're searching for it, right? How did we build this anticipation? Because so far we have found food here and there. And if a point exists in my life where I didn't find food, I say, well, there must be somewhere else. Food must be somewhere else because I have seen it there. I was provided. Air. I have been provided. If I start getting lesser air quality or something, I say there must be a better air somewhere else. This is our experience with how we have been living this life. If I have the questions, would I not expect the answers? Like, if you look at history of human life, people have been searching for answers. But our question more in the sense of now, who is going to give me the answers? From whom will I expect this answer? Because philosophy is all about asking those questions, right? People did expect to find answers. This is why they have been formulating those questions, why they have been having those conversations with each other. Or science is an endeavor to find answers, for example, right? But would you expect that your maker should give you answers? This is an important key point. Do you expect your creator to tell you about why it so much hurts? Like, for example, I don't know if you guys have experienced, but the pain of love. Why does it hurt so much? You love someone and this person doesn't reciprocate. Or you love someone, but that person loves you, but you couldn't get together. Like many issues about love, for example, it's a very legitimate, real problem. Do you expect that your creator would answer such a question?
Yes. I think that, like what you were saying, that when we have a need, we go search for it because we think that, if I have this need, then it must exist to be fulfilled in some way. Maybe I don't have it now, but it has to be there. And with the example of loss, like if you're a child and your one of your grandparents passes away, then you turn to mom and dad and you ask about that because you think that, they're knowledgeable in some way about this. And so if I think about my creator, I would think that he would be knowledgeable about these things that I'm feeling, and that he would give me these, he would know how to give me those answers.
Okay. Yes.
I guess for me, sometimes it feels like I have to work for an answer. Like it's not something that's given. Like I guess sometimes I feel like I have specific questions and the answer is not clear to me to that specific question. So it feels like, okay, do I have to do something different? Like, what do I need to do to maybe understand the answer to this question better? So it feels like there is a bit of work that I have to put in on my part. So I don't know, sometimes I feel like there's a bit of a gap in terms of really expecting like for everything, every problem I have, like there being an answer that's given to me versus me having to actually seek out and search for that.
I mean, that's very good. Let's try to make it as organic as possible. Like, for instance, look at these two kids. They are around no one but their father now. Like, when they want to ask for something in this room, when they are needy, they will ask it to their dad. If they knew that, let's assume this gentleman is a super rude guy, okay, or he doesn't have any resources or something, would these kids ask from him? Like, there's some sort of an anticipation between the child and the dad that first, when the child doesn't have, they start searching. This is number one, like admitting, realizing the neediness, right? First, the child is aware that I am missing something or I need something. Let's say, Huda, probably before we finish today's discussion, she will need to go to restroom. This is what's happening for the past 2 weeks. So this is a need. And first she realizes that there's a need. Number one question that I need to ask myself is, what are my needs? Number two, if I have this need, how am I going to maintain this need? How am I going to fulfill this need? So the conversation that we are now at is, I have bodily needs, fine, but I have non-bodily needs, those problems that I go through in life, which bother me more than my physical needs. But who is going to answer those needs? This is a very important question. Why? Because if you are in need of financial advice, to whom do you go to?
A Wharton student.
Wharton student, right? Okay. So we will go to a Wharton student for finding answers to our financial questions, right? For making investment and whatnot. So when it comes to the book, what should it look like? What sort of a thing that you are expecting as answers, and what it should not be like? Two questions here. What should it be like, and what should it not be like? Like, for instance, the book that's going to answer your problems, do you expect it to be in the form of a, I don't know, fantasy novel? Just throwing it out because I like reading fantasy novels. But like, what should it be like? Or would you expect the book to be giving you financial advices?
Different question.
Okay.
Do we expect answers to only be found in the book? other places, like I would say I learned a lot maybe just from my experiences.
Mm.
And maybe those answers can be found in the book, but I didn't find them in the book.
Okay. Fine. I mean, good question. So I am expecting answers. Maybe the book is going to give me the answers, or the book is going to teach me where to find the answers. But I'm expecting some sort of a way that the book is going to fulfill these needs. Like the father in this case could say, when Bishra asks for, I don't know, popcorn, saying that, oh, it is in front of the bag. Go and pull it up for yourself. But I am in need of answers one way or another to fulfill my need. So I am, because otherwise, if it is something that I can figure it out by myself, would I need it to be in the book itself? Like how many fingers do I have? 5. Does the book need to tell me about this information? Like how many fingers does a human have? I can go and count it by myself, right? It should tell me information that's relevant. So it shouldn't tell me irrelevant information. It shouldn't tell me information that I can go and figure out by myself. It should tell me something that are truly solving my problems. This being said, this is an important thing. Why? Because if it tells me that I have 5 fingers, let's assume, would I say that, oh, it is telling me I have 5 fingers? Or will I say that it must be saying something else? Because I wouldn't expect it to tell me that I have 5 fingers. If it is saying that I have 5 fingers, then it must be for another purpose. It cannot be for telling me that I have 5 fingers. Would you agree with that? Otherwise, it's going to be waste, isn't it? Like the book, which is going to be the solutions for my problem, if it tells me something that's clear, self-evident, which I can figure out by myself, I don't expect the book to waste space for such mundane information, right? So we are starting to build up our expectations from the book, actually, because Quran talks about some apparently mundane things. Then I should pause and ask, I was not expecting that sort of simple information to be here. What is your purpose in saying that? I will look for other information in there rather than the information itself. Why? What is the book should be, what is the book should not be. For example, I am not interested in the book to be giving me historical information. Do you? Like history of humankind. Who is born first, who is born second?
It seems irrelevant to my questions.
To my problems, it's irrelevant, really, in and of itself, right?
I think it's when like it does give the history of like previous tribes or people who lived and what they did, and from these history or stories we learn stuff that we could apply to our daily life. So I do expect that I learn about other people who existed before me, so I could like take from them what they did and what they didn't and apply that into my life.
Very correct. So in this case, then it's not going to be history for the sake of history, actually. Like likewise, it's not my 5 fingers. If it talks about you have 5 fingers, still it might. I mean, this is a dumb example. It doesn't say that you have 5 fingers, but it says we created you in pairs. Quran says that. Well, of course, we are created in pairs. Like, what do you mean, right? It's a self-evident thing, isn't it? So when it talks about it, then I'm not going to take it as a biological information. Applying it to history. When it talks about a historical event, I'm not going to take it as a historical event. Why? Because it's irrelevant. Like telling me what happened in the past for the sake of what happened in the past is irrelevant. Then what is it? Still, it talks about historical events, though. What am I going to do with this? Like, sometimes we give this example in this discussion. Let me repeat it again. If I were to tell you that, like these discussions, we have been doing this since, I don't know, let's say 2022. And at 2022, there was one brother. He asked this and that type of a question once, okay? And then if you pause and say, what was the name of the brother? Where was he from? How tall was he? I am telling you that because I saw that you might have this question, but you are not raising that question. Actually, this is your question. This is why I am bringing you the example of that brother. I am talking about you, actually. This is why I am telling you the story of that brother. I'm not telling the story of the brother for the brother. So this is not a historical narration, in fact, if you think about it. If you see something in the book, then you need to say, how is this relevant to me? Otherwise, it should not be in the book. If it is in the book, then it has to be 100% related to me. Otherwise, I wouldn't call it the book because it's not answering my questions. So yes, I do expect, well, if stories exist in the book, then I would say, oh, this is my story. It's talking about me 100%. Does this make sense? Like now, everything in the book starts changing its shape because of my expectations from the book. If you sit before the book with proper expectations, you will start getting correct answers. If you sit before the book with wrong expectations, or even worse, no expectation, then we start reading a storybook when we read Quran. What do you think, brother? You seem to have some comments.
So the moment you give the example of children and the school they attending, so we see a very interesting reality when we look at the children. So when they start learning things, like a 5 years old, 6 years old child, if you tell them everything is created by a giant tomato, they will accept it. If they like you, if they like the teachers, they will accept it. They will start talking at home that the giant tomato created it. If they tell them, if you tell them, this is our sacred book, whatever is written there is true, you cannot have a doubt. If it says such and such person lived here and there, you have to accept it. They will do that with no questioning. If they like you, that's the only the required thing. This is how they learn, like when you observe it. So in our case, I think that's how I let's say treat myself. Let's say, oh, at least we are teaching them the right thing, right? I could teach them. I could have taught them that the giant tomato creates everything, and you have to worship this giant tomato. But I'm not doing this, so I'm doing the right thing. That's how I, justify. But from their perspective, when they come to a certain age, they have to make their own choice. There's no escape from that. When they grow up, it will change from one person to another person. This gentleman will reach this age, for instance, 12, but that gentleman will reach it 37, maybe, right? It will change. Like for me, probably around 40, it was. So they have to make this choice. Before this choice, making this conscious choice, whatever they learned, whatever they were given, it was just a preparation for them. It's an option given to them so that they would choose it. There's a narration, right? Every child born as a Muslim, we usually take this first part. But the second part is even maybe more important. Says, but their parents raised them as children, Christian, Jewish, etc. So this is our reality. The narration was maybe focusing on that, saying that be careful. Just because you were raised in a certain way, don't just accept it and don't just blindly follow it. That's what narration actually says. Right? We usually say that, oh, yeah, Muslim, we don't have to question anything because I was already raised Muslim. This is for, the Christians and Jewish. No, it's our prophet talking to us. Our prophet, wouldn't say anything that wouldn't, concern us. So he's telling us, just because you were raised in a certain way, don't just accept it. Make it your reality. Make your choice. So now we have to do that. And that's what I understand from all all you've been saying from the beginning. We have the Quran in front of us. Certain things is written in there. And our fathers, our mothers, our teachers, etc., they told us this is what is written there. And just accept it. And we accepted it. We memorized it, just like my daughter's memorizing now. And we don't remember that times. We think, we consciously thinking, with our decisions, etc., been through this journey, except a few of us. I know that they were not raised as Muslims. But no, this is our reality. Let's face it. We say most of the things in a way we say because we memorize them since our childhood. Now, Brother Yusuf is telling us, let's make this conscious decision now. Okay? Let's make it our choice if it makes sense. When you make this choice, then you can expect others as well. For instance, your Christian friends, Jewish friends, atheist friends, question and make similar choices as well. But first, you have to make it so that you own it. It becomes yours really, not your father's, your teacher's. So he says then, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm misunderstanding you, that instead of just open the book and repeat what you've been memorizing so far, first close the book for a second and ask yourself, do you even expect such a book to exist? Does it make sense? I mean, imagine what if I gave you sacred scriptures of the giant tomato? And it sounds really funny, but have you ever read the Book of Mormon? No, right? I read once. I was staying in a hotel, and I opened the drawer. There was one, the Bible, and because of the region, I was staying, another drawer. There was the Book of Mormon. I said, okay, let me read what it is. People keep talking about it. I couldn't believe first because it's almost like a sci-fi movie. The Jesus appearing in North America here, handing out some golden tablets, some other people hiding them, etc. It's all the history of that. But people believe in that. Their children believe in that as well. How so? Like for us, it's stupid. No. They're doing the same thing we do. As child, they memorize that this is the book of true religion. Whatever it is written there is true. And they don't question, do I even expect such a book exists to tell me what happened 100 years ago in this, part of the Philadelphia with this some sci-fi motives? Do I expect such a book to exist? Do I expect such a book being revealed by the one who creates me, who creates everything around me? Do I expect that? Does it make sense even? I have to ask. Otherwise, I would be just another Mormon. Now the question, as you were beautiful asking, like, do you expect such a book to exist? And the answer was given by the audience. I really liked it. if I have some questions, I expect that these questions to be answered. And this is my reality. So if I tell you, for instance, tomorrow, oh, ladies and gentlemen, we found a cure for cancer. Who would be so surprised? Oh, I cannot believe that. This is impossible. Who? Why? Because this is what we observe. If there's a problem in our lives, somewhere, waiting to be discovered, somewhere, there's a cure. This is the reality. You don't have to be a believer in for that. Even, the most stubborn atheists, majority of scientists, they will say, no, if I have a problem, there must be a solution somewhere out there. Why? Why do you think we have this expectation? Everything in our life promises that. Just like you said, right? You were born. The child inherently knows, if I'm hungry, there must be something out there to fill his stomach. They know it. This is our reality. Every moment we face with a need, and there is always, no exception, always to answer to this need. Whether we have it or not, it's another thing. But we know that there must be something out there. To us, it's even, we can easily say that, if you have a problem, and if there's no solution for that, it doesn't make sense. Come on, it cannot be. You can, such certainty, you can say that. And apply it to all your, the bigger problems about your humanity. What is the point of having children? They don't even let me sleep. Why? Why I'm having, the creatures occupying my, the home? I find myself in such a, the system order, whatever.
You pay to them.
I pay even for, even to give birth, I pay a few $1,000 so that my wife will have pain. What is the point of this, I ask? And so far, nobody ever could answer that. I couldn't find any answer for this. Some, I don't want to use some rude words, I apologize, but so-called, the thinkers, philosophers, scientists, or maybe more realistically, stupid people, they told me, oh, you do that for procreation so that, your genes will be replicated. I say, bend to my genes, man. I mean, who cares about what my genes think? Like, if this is the reason I pay for this child, I will put this child to the outside of the street, on the street, the next moment, if this is the case. So give me something, give me an answer that will really satisfy my need. Just like the food really satisfies my hunger. Somebody please explain why I'm having children. Why I have to work so that I will earn something and I feed myself. Why? Somebody has to answer these questions. So then the answer is very genuine. Yes, there must be something, whether it's a book or, I don't know, tape recording, ChatGPT, I don't care. There must be answers why these bigger real problems. And now I'm searching for it.
And to the extent that you realize your need, when you see somebody saying this is the book, then you have criteria to judge against. Like if I tell you this is the phone, you would say, like, you will laugh at it. It's not a phone. Does it connect somewhere? I say, no, it's made up of leather. You say, well, not even a single circuit. Does it carry signals? No. So you know what to expect from a phone. So this doesn't make a phone. It's a wallet. So when somebody comes with the book, I should have something at my hand to judge against. Because the Book of Mormon is going to be there. The Quran is going to be there. I don't know. Origin of Species is going to be there as another book, which is the book that I'm looking for. So to the extent that I know what I am looking for, then I will be able to appreciate it. These are very important questions to have in mind when sitting before any verse. Because if you know your need, to the extent that you know your need, that much you can understand Quran. Because that much you will dig, that much you will ask from it. And to the extent you ask, you will get answer. Baby asks by crying when they're born, they are given milk. If babies don't ask, don't cry, who's going to feed them? To the extent we ask, we receive. Like even it's very wise if you just pay attention to how much wisdom there is in creation. It's not coincidental that baby cries for milk. From the very birth, actually, we are being taught that the one who makes us is saying that you ask and I respond. You know, this applies to eventually dua, but dua means simply calling. Baby is calling and is being responded with milk. Are you calling that you're going to be receiving an answer, which is the book? So that is an important part. We have 6-7 more minutes. Let me get into this La Rayba Fi, and I think we'll continue with this next week as well. But it says this is a book, and there's no doubt in it. What does it mean then for a book to be without any doubt? Like, what do you expect? Now, the speaker with the book, the guy who's trying to sell you the book, comes and says, this is the book, and there's no doubt in it. What does that mean practically for you? At least I know what it should not mean. It should not mean that, like, shaking finger to me and saying that, no, don't dare ask a single question. How dare you have any doubt about this book?
Accept it or I will slap you.
Like, I am the one who's selling it to you. Of course, you know, if you go to a car dealer and you ask them, does the car has guarantee? And the guy says, oh, I am the guarantee. Come on. Like, would you buy the car if the guy is trying to sell you the car? Right? Like, this is a simple, like, let's say it's a dealer, a second-hand car. I bought one. And, you know, the car dealers, they are interesting guys. Let's be polite. But actually, this is exactly what happened. We were just checking the doors to see if the car has some issues. 3 doors, when you close the door, it gives you proper door close sound. The 4th door, if you close it, it gives you a tin can sound. We said, what's wrong with this door? The guy said, well, it's 2011. It's an old car. We said, well, the remaining 3 doors are of the same age. Why is this door making the sound and not the remaining 3? The guy get angry. I was not supposed to ask. Like, I was not supposed to have doubt on his car, right? Is this the way we shouldn't have any doubt about the book? Would you buy such a book? Like, if somebody says, no, don't ask questions, or otherwise go and buy it from another dealer. It's a very shady business, isn't it? Like, if this is the meaning of it, then that means these guys are running a very shady business. What is it then? What does it mean that the book doesn't have any doubt in it? Yes.
Like, not the doubts is coming from me, maybe I question it, but for me, the way I understand that is it has all the answers to your questions, and you can challenge it as much as you want, and it will not, it won't crack. There are no cracks.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think to build off of that, also, there is the part where it says this book is for people who have reason. So if you are somebody who is reasonable in reading it, you would realize, okay, like, I don't need to come up with more items, like what it's saying is clear. And if I think about it, maybe it'll make sense to me over time.
Mhm.
And I can accept it for face value and then think about it more, and then the answer will dawn on me, but I can accept it as face value because it says it has no doubt.
Okay,
Some things are very clear, like the laws of inheritance and like no pork, like those things are really clear, but then there's some things that I'm like, I have to think about it because I don't. It's not clear to me, but eventually it'll become clear if I use my reason.
that's a good point. Actually, maybe not next week, but the week after, I would like to make this as a topic. We had this discussion at Drexel, and it was very fruitful. Somebody was genuinely asking the question of why is it hard to understand Quran? Inshallah, when we get to there, I would like to exactly talk about what you just said, because it looks like certain things are hard to understand in Quran. And in here, Quran is saying that there's no room for doubts in it. But we do have, don't we? Like there are verses which we do not understand yet, right? But at least, what does the claim sound like? Let's take it from there. Because this is a huge claim, actually. It says there's no doubt in this book. This is a huge claim. As if the dealer is selling the car and saying that lifetime guarantee. This is what that means, isn't it? Lifetime guarantee. Lifetime guarantee, you can test it by how? If your car gets broken, what do? You take it to the dealer, they fix the car, right? So this must be somehow that whatever is in this book, I will read it. Whatever problem I bring to it, it must answer, isn't it? Like this is how we started with the book. So whatever problem I bring to it, it should answer my problems. I should find an answer to them. But also there should be a way to verify what it says. Otherwise, wouldn't you have doubts? How do you clean up doubts? Like practically speaking. If you're having doubts about, I don't know, generally it's among husband and wife. Let's give a annoying example. If husband is doubting about wife, wife is doubting about husband. How do you clean this? You don't say, oh, honey, you must believe me, right? Like, it doesn't work like that. If there is a question mark, there must be a way to clean it away. You cannot simply expect things to dissolve naturally. How can this book say that there's no doubt about this book? How can you confirm? How can you be sure about what this book is saying? Any idea?
I have not answered your question. I cannot, but if you don't want, I want to say something about the structure of ayah. So if there is an ayah, a speech from my creator, so no word or word order is wasted. It's not for nothing. So ayah, for instance, does not say that these muttaqin, those who are, the conscious, aware of their reality, they don't have any doubts. Doesn't say that. If it said that, for instance, I would say, okay, if I'm a Muslim, I cannot have a doubt. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say this is the book and you need to accept everything in it. Doesn't say that. For some reason, it uses the word doubt. It takes from the other side. Instead of saying that you need to believe everything in it, it says in this book, there's no doubt. So the doubt is associated with the book, not the muttaqin, the believer. Okay? It means, just to save time, it means you muttaqins, even when you are so conscious and aware of your reality, with good purpose, the intentions, you will always have some doubts. Okay? And if my creator tells me, like if a speech that is so-called from my creator tells me, oh, Birkan, as a human being, you don't have doubts, I would say, okay, definitely this is not from my creator. Doesn't even know me. Because as a human being, I always have doubts. Okay? It says you will have some doubts, but when you look at this book and what is written in this book, you will see that whatever is written is there, right? Withstand your doubts. You can take it, verify it. How? Through your reality. Check it almost. You can check, the ayah says, you can check everything written in this book, compare it with your reality, what you are, what you see, right? And then you will always verify that whatever is written in this book is truthful. This is not only a claim, this is a call. There are some other explicit ayahs in the Quran as well, right? Bring me similar ayahs if you can, etc. It's not just talking about the poetic nature of the Quran, like give me some beautiful sentences. No. It says, bring me an explanation of your life as good as me, and you can discard this book. That's the challenge in this ayah, in that the ayah that I mentioned. Bring me some ayahs. So here again, there's a call. Whatever you read in this book, verify it and realize that no doubt of yours will withstand. It will always resolve. It's a big claim, big challenge, and big call. It's almost saying that this is what makes you muttaqin. Because muttaqin, the word meaning is being aware of what is going on, being so careful, like there are some narrations explain it as if you are walking in a garden of roses. Is that so? Like with all these thorns, right? And you are so careful so that it will not hurt you. We usually take it as, oh, don't do anything bad, otherwise, you will be hurt. No. It means you are so conscious with every step you take. You are so conscious of your environment, what is going on. You're observing everything and constantly asking, okay, whether this step is the right one or wrong. This is muttaqin. And ayah says, muttaqins are those reads an ayah in this book and verifies it, validates it, and say that, yes, I believe in it. It fits to my reality 100%. Such a big call. And some people would dare saying that this is just dogmatism. And you just accept. Even in sciences, there is no such claim. No equation, no formula, no hypothetical theorem, doesn't matter. Even the theorems of the Newton. People would say they will sometimes work, sometimes will not work. In some context it will work, in some context it will not work. This is the expectation. Ayah says, no, I am so superior, my explanations are so superior, you cannot find any context in which it will not work. You will not find any problem that cannot be answered by my explanations. And I claim this, it says.
So, and the reason that only my maker can make such a claim, because how can I confirm it? I have a way to confirm it. In English, there's the word, he is walking the talk, talking the walk. This is the talk, but there's the walk, which is the life. Like the one who is walking the walk is talking the talk here. So whatever he says, if the speech comes from the maker of this, then it should be 100% matching. There shouldn't be any mismatch. There shouldn't be any discrepancy. Like if I were trying to answer your problems, like somebody was asking for some marriage consultation. I have some exposure to marriage, but there are many, many different families, backgrounds, and whatnot. To what extent my consultation is going to help that person, right? But if I was the creator of that person, and if I was giving a consultation, wouldn't that person expect that whatever, if this guy really made me, whatever he says would be 100% matching my reality? This is what Quran is suggesting us then, no doubt in this, because whatever I am saying would be matching with your reality 100%. This is how you check, how you verify correctness of Quran. Because most of us don't speak Arabic in this room, but we are human. Like we are speaking the language of being human. We are speaking the language of being a creation. And this is the speech of the creator. In this regard, I understand what this is about. This book is talking about knowing the one who is claiming to speak in this book says that I know that you are dying. I know that you are bothered by getting old. This is my reality, right? My daughter is worried about she growing up because I will get old and I will die. She's worried about this. The creator says, this is the speech of the one who knows about this worry. So whatever this says in this book, then I should be checking, does it really work? This is how you verify. This is how you can be like have no doubt in the book. Because there's a way for us to verify it. At this point, there should be thousands of questions in your mind. You would say, well, Quran talks about afterlife. Quran talks about heaven and hell. Without dying, how am I going to verify it? And this and that. Good. Keep having those questions. These are going to be very useful questions for us for the future. But what we are talking about here applies to that as well. If Quran talks about giving the news of paradise, giving the news of unseen, Quran talks about jinn, Quran talks about angels. How do I have no doubt about them? I have never seen them. I need to ask those questions then, rightfully. But this is what that book is inviting me to. So inshallah, I will conclude here, but just to finish with my questions. When it came to this la rayba fih, whereof there is no doubt, I was asking what does it mean for a book to be with or without doubts? Then we can apply it two ways. One is, there's nothing like whatever it says is 100% confirmable. That's number one. Number two, we can also apply to what we said before. 100%, without any doubt, such a book must exist. I also do not have any doubt about existence of such a book, which is what we have been discussing before, right? Even if you haven't heard about such a book, you would expect such a book. And if you think about it, if Prophet ﷺ was not expecting an answer, would he get into this cave? Like getting into the cave was a search, was asking, and he was given the answer. Likewise, are you in a cave? And sometimes it happens. It happens more when we are at the deepest of our darkness. Things start going bad and worse and whatnot. Generally, it happens at nighttime. Like you just cannot take it anymore. You start crying and whatnot. Like that moment is a moment where you say, like that crying is actually a way to say that I cannot handle it. There must be some answer. Otherwise, I cannot live any further, right? If you ask, that moment means I have no doubt that there must be an answer. Okay, inshallah, next week we can continue with Hudan and then Lil Muttaqin part. Next week we will study this, and the week after that we will study it was a single verse. We just barely made halfway through it. Is it hard to understand Quran? What should we expect from Quran? Or are we exaggerating in here? Are we philosophizing or really? I mean, I don't think we made up anything. The meaning is there. But Quran itself is claiming that it's an open book. Like it's a clear book. What sort of clearness is that? So inshallah, we will get to that the week after. Okay. Any closing remarks, comments, suggestions?
Going to repeat the feedback point that you started off with.
Oh, yes. So the feedback points were, would you like to speak it up? Since you are written, it would be nice.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
If you don't know me, I'm Mokhtar, the MSA president, and we've been working very closely with Dr. Yusuf to make the Tafsir classes more accessible and engaging, and in a way that, people feel comfortable coming to learn more and to feel that they're walking away knowing more and feeling more engaged with the Quran than when they first came in. And so we gave feedback to Dr. Yusuf about maybe rethinking the content of these sessions to try to open up broader questions in ways that everyone can understand and try to connect with. So if you do have any feedback, if you like this session and you want more of it, please feel free to talk to me or any of the MSA board members or Dr. Yusuf. Inshallah, we want these to be fruitful for everyone.
And inshallah, if you have, you definitely have, but those genuine, real questions in life, which sometimes you are being shy to ask, saying that, oh, this is very primitive of a question, look how deep the discussion is going and whatnot. But really, those primitive questions are being very fruitful discussions because this is where we are. Last week, there was one such apparently primitive question, which was very fruitful. Somebody was concerned about their friends, like Quran says, don't befriend Christians and Jews and whatnot. Then he was saying that if I don't befriend them, then who is going to give them guidance or offer them truth? Or the same person asked the question that my daughter asks, they're going to hell, they're going to burn in hellfire. Shall we just friend them, not friend them? Like seemingly very simple questions, but these are very genuine questions. And actually there's a very strong underlying problem in those questions, which we need to answer, which we need to address. So any question, any problem, let us know. So inshallah we can have more like topics around those problems, those questions. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين الفاتحة